You saw nothing. You saw nothing. How is everyone doing on this fine, fine day? I hope you're all well. It is a Friday. We've got some of the usual faces in. Anthony's here first. You're very committed, Anthony. I'm always impressed that you managed to get here first. We've also got Hams Fan here, having it on while you cook. Great stuff. Good to have in the background. Vacarus is here as well. Good to see you. Not a name that I've caught before. Mikkel, good evening. Good evening to you as well. Papa Wheelie here for the first time. How's the music volume? I'm trying to find good background music. And, yeah, I don't know. The issue I'm having... Hold on. How do I turn this all the way down? Hey, happy Friday, London. The issue I'm having is I keep playing royalty-free music, and then my streams keep getting demonetized, which is not ideal. So I'm trying to find some... It loud. Alright. Let me see if I can do something about that. Let's just turn it down here. Not overwhelming, but very noticeable. Let's just take it down to, like, 30% of where it was. Don't play anything Disney. Mate, I can't play anything. I'm playing stuff that's labeled as royalty-free, and I'm still getting copyright strikes. It's, well, not copyright strikes, but I'm not allowed to monetize the VODs. Too quiet now. Right, we'll go in the middle. How you doing, Steve? You're not posted a list again today. It's nice to hear Posh Ed get his clarinet practice in. Never played any woodwind instruments. No, that's a lie. I played recorder. Post-capitalism hellscape. Yes, indeed. That is the world we live in. Isn't it great? Isn't it great? But we've got some good ones. We've got a good range today, actually. I'm quite jazzed for this. There's some lists in here that are definitely interesting. Some that I think need more work, some that need less work, and that is good. It's nice to have a good variety of lists. So, I saw in the chat that Papa Wheelie was here. Just starting the lunch break. Hopefully work doesn't interfere. Are you still here, Father Wheelie? Because if you are, we can start with your list. Make sure that it gets seen while you're on, available. While we're waiting, if you could do all the things that are good to do, the likes and all that jazz would be appreciated. If anyone can have this on Twitch as well, that would be ideal. Because I need to hit an average of, I think, 4 viewers across 7 streams. Which is, I was like, oh, that'll just happen naturally. And then, like, I get 1 viewer on Twitch a session, which is not getting me close to where I need to be. You are here. Excellent stuff. Lovely, lovely stuff. Well, let's start off with your list, then. So, Papa Wheelie's Heralds. There we go, up to the top. Callum's here. Hey, how you doing? Doritos and Dorito Salsa don't even go on offer at the same time anymore. That is disappointing. I mean, Dorito Salsa is famously overpriced. Is it better than own brand salsa? Can you tell the difference? I can't. They both seem a little bit watery, honestly. Alright, so there's actually quite a lot to go through here. So there was some text that went with it. So the text was, I've just gotten some chariots, and I'm starting to assemble them. Feedback on specific assembly loadouts, i.e. flails versus great weapons, would be much appreciated. Biggest attraction to heralds is the counter-charging chariots, but still assembling this army, so feel free to go to town. You have a Warhol game tonight, so excited to wreck face. Excellent stuff. That's exactly why you should be excited about this, because heralds are a lot of fun. The counter-charging chariots are really, really good. I've fallen a little bit out. Steve, I appreciate everything you do for me. But most of all, that Twitch having open. That's the thing that I appreciate most about you. So, the countercharge chariots are fantastic. The issue I'm having is I don't know how you beat dragons. That is a concern that I'm having with this list, and it's why I've kind of put it to the side for now. It's a little bit, yeah. I'm not sure. That's not to say that you can't play it and have fun with it. I think it's great. But it does feel a little bit capped. Maybe the answer is that we take the Chaos Lord and we give him an Ogre Blade, so at least he can go toe-to-toe with the dragon. But then catching the dragon is difficult, so it's hard to say. However, let's go through what you've got, and then we'll go through what tweaks I'd make. So you've got a Chaos Lord who is got one of the region items, Brazen Collar for a magic resist 2. You've gone for the flail. You're asking about flail versus great weapon. I think the flail is fantastic. The reason for that is you've got a good initiative stat. So you're initiative 6, and you're going to be, getting that usually plus 3, taking to initiative 9. The whole point of countercharge is to hit before your enemy gets to hit you, so that's really nice. So I always go flails on specifically countercharging chariots, all of the options we have there. But if you're going on just like a standard chariot, I'd just go great weapon, because we're going to go second anyway. Something that I thought about here, the healing potion is nice. This is very tanky. So a Chaos Lord has 4 wounds base at T5. The Chosen Chariot, also T5, and another 4 wounds. So you're at 8 wounds, which is 1 less than a normal dragon. And you're paying, honestly, not far off a Dreadlord on Dragon, but that's fine, because you get some benefits above what the Dreadlord gets. You've got the triple save, the 3 up, 5 up, 5 up, which is really nice. Mark and Nurgle as well. This is good. The problem is, obviously, you've got to take marks outside of characters to match up, so it skews, which means you've got 2 units of Chaos Knights. Hey, Nis, hope you're doing well. You've got 2 units of Chaos Knights here that are very expensive and points dense, and are harder to kill, but they don't really do much. I mean, they've got an attack each at Strength 6, AP 2 on the charge. Or, Strength 4, AP 1 the rest of the time. So I guess they're not bad, but they're very expensive per wound. So I'm a little... Unless you've got some character support in here, I worry a little bit about them. So, Chaos Spawn in the special. This is... I don't know if I've talked about Chaos Spawn. Khorne Chaos Spawn, I've been super impressed with. Because obviously, they're not Mark of. They are, cursed by, or blessed by, I guess, depending on how you look at it. Overly blessed by Khorne, and these things are pretty solid. So they're slow. They're only a 2d6 random move. They're strength 4 with d6 attacks, but they are T5, and they've got built-in... they've got no built-in save at all. No, that's fine, but they are reasonably, cheapish. They're not actually cheap at all. With 60 points in model. Do they really have no defense? Have I just completely missed that? Oh god, they are expensive. Imagine if the Marvel Spirit series was Chaos Spawn. That's a film I haven't actually got around to watching. Spawn. I should probably do that. Anyway, Chaos Spawn, before I got sidetracked, Chaos Spawn have Killing Blow. So that's a lot of attacks with Killing Blow. And they've got hand weapons. They don't have ensorcelled armor. So they're really just leaning on those Killing Blow random attacks. Which is fine. They're okay. God, they're so expensive, though. They have heavy armor. Oh, yes, they do. There we go. I was looking at them like, they've got nothing. For some reason, I was just missing it. I think I was expecting it to be down here. Honestly, I was looking to see if they had a 5-up ward save. But, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I played them in a unit of 2, and I was quite impressed with 2, but we'll see. And then you've got the gigantic spawn here. You've given them Mark of Khorne. This is Yeah, obviously you get impact hits and killing blow, which is cool. I find Nurgle to be a lot more reliable. It's only 5 points more. The poison attacks increase your damage, not as much as killing blow, but honestly it probably kind of comes out in the wash. Very similar amounts of damage to the impact hits, and if you don't get the charge, you come out with more attacks, because 6s to hit, just auto wounding. It's a third of your hits. The regen is really nice as well, keeps you alive. So I would be going Nurgle here. I'm also concerned that you haven't got anything to buff up these knights in core. And you haven't got enough Favour of the Gods. So having none on the Chaos Lord, I think, is a mistake. Only having one on the Exalted Champion, I think, is fine. I'd probably as well swap them over if you're going super tanky. So, obviously, in theory, you're getting more value out of the poisoned attacks on this one, on the basis of you've got a lower strength, but you've got less attacks as well. So I'm just going to swap those over. You've got the combat res. That's probably enough. So single Favour of the Gods, Brazen Collar, Crown of Everlasting Complet. I'm going to take the Brazen Collars off for now, just on the basis of I don't know that we've got the points to waste on them. It's a very good item, don't get me wrong. It's just hard to justify putting them in. I'm going to take the Healing Potion off as well. There we go. So we should have... Let's have a look here. Have I done this right? Crown of Everlasting Conquest. I forgot what words I was looking for. Perfect stuff. Okay, so we've got our 2 chariots in. That leaves us with enough to put a caster in, and I think the caster is important. So you're going to go level 4. God, it's hard to fit things in here. I think... So what you need, really, is Chaos Steed. At minimum, you need Chaos Steed, and you need Spell Familiar. That combo. Let me just see if I can... I don't think this will pull this up. I think the music is now louder for me than it is for you, so I'm going to just see if I can tweak that on my end. Apparently not. No worries. Cool. So I think you want a level 4 with, realistically, probably Demonology. This makes them a lot more appealing in my eyes. And if we're doing that, we may as well go for 1 unit of 15 and 1 unit of 5. The unit of 5 can lose the champion and the standard bearer. And then... Magic banner. Let's go Icon of Darkness. Icon of Darkness gives you -1 to be shot. So this is... We are stupidly far over on points. Let's just drop the Chaos Spawn. Oh, yes, we need to cut points in the characters here as well. And I'm going to recommend that you go Nurgle. You can absolutely go Khorne. I just think this is a lot better of an all-round choice. Unless you've got, like, Khorne-specific models, in which case, you know, fair play. You go with whatever you fancy. Here we need to cut some points. We're 22 points over. That is really annoying because we still need to go with at least 1 Favour of the Gods here. How are we cutting points? So we've got Regen, Ward, 27 points over is a lot. Still sourcing your spawn models, nothing firm. Cool. I definitely start off with Nurgle. If you find that Nurgle doesn't kill enough, give Khorne a go, just in terms of, like, let's try the max damage option. I'm a little confused, because I've always been able to fit 2 characters in here and a caster. Maybe the fact that it's the Exalted Champion is too much. Let's just... Normal Chariot. Ah, Lewis, no, we can't be going Normal Chariot. Normal Chariots are terrible. These have counter charge. But let's go... Let's drop down to an Aspiring Champion just to see if we can fit it in. Because I think that might be the issue that we're having. I'm really annoyed, by the way, that you can't take Sorcerers on Chosen Chariots. If you could, I'd be counter-charging with Sorcerers all day long. That would be amazing. Crown of Everlasting Conquest, single Favour of the Gods, Flail. There we go. Then we've still got 28 points available. That works a lot better. And at that point as well, if we give you the Armor of Meteoric Iron, something that I found with my Sorcerer Lord is that people will try and snipe it. Because it's giving a lot of the protections to the unit. Speaking of protection to the unit, let's drop the Charmed Shield and let's put the Brazen Collar on this unit. So we've got Magic Resist 2 on this unit here. You know what? Let's just... Oh, we do need a second unit. It's okay. It's okay. We'll come back to that. So, this unit's good. It being Mark and Nurgle is pretty okay, because it's kind of a point sink. What you're going to find, though, is you're probably going to suffer the miss of not having the Fear, Panic, or Terror tests. It's not too bad as long as you stay in range of the BSB, which we've got here. I think... Let's see if we can just squeeze one more Favour of the Gods. Let's go 2 on the Lord, because you want to be aggressively rolling with this fella. Try and get him as beefy as possible. Bickett said, bin the War Banner on the BSB. I think dropping to the Aspiring Champion instead of the Exalted Sorcerer, the Exalted Champion, is better. On the basis of this gives you... You still get the static combat res, and it doesn't make him that much worse. So the reason that we've gone for a Sorcerer Lord is, in this detachment, your core is kind of crap. So having a Sorcerer Lord in with them makes the core playable, basically. You have one unit that does quite a lot of damage. You're planning on running a lot of knights anyway, so it's quite an easy adaptation just to go into here. And then what I would say as well is, the rest of the core is kind of... You can squeeze this around. If you go like 12 to 15 or 16 Chaos Knights in one unit, and then you can kind of fill the rest with whatever. I would say 2 units of Warhounds is really nice, and then you need another Nurgle marked unit. So I'm just going to say, for the sake of it, let's go Mark of Nurgle, Spears, Musician, Shield. And then how do we cut points, because we're 10 points over? This is the difficult thing. Maybe we just take Vanguard off both these units. So something like this, I think, is probably the the ideal version of Heralds. You could try and fit into your magic items. You could try and fit the Infernal Puppet, obviously incredibly strong. It means that any enemies casting within range of you are casting on 3d6 drop the highest, which is a very strong defensive role. I find it difficult to fit in, because if you want 2 of the counter-charging chariots, which you absolutely do, you have to make some cuts. You could drop the Chaos Lord down to a Exalted Champion, but you lose a lot for doing that, honestly. I think the Exalted Champion's only Strength 4, is that right? No, Strength 5. You lose an attack and a weapon skill and a leadership, and this army really wants leadership because it's very punishing when these expensive units run away. But yeah, this is the version that I'd go with. But if you've got any thoughts, as always, feel free to ping me in the Chaos channel. And hold on. There we go. When I've got streamer mode on, it shortens the username, so I can't see who I'm tagging. But yeah, if you've got any thoughts or anything that you don't like about the list that you'd rather change, just ping me in the Chaos channel, and we can have a look at other adaptations. Or if you play any games with it, obviously you said you were going to play a game this evening. No worries, man. If once you've played a game with it this evening, if there's any aspects of it that you go, I was kind of underwhelmed by that, again, ping me in the channel and we can look at tweaking it. All right. Has the music stopped? God, this thing is just terrible. Oh, there we go. I haven't even pressed play. It's just started itself. Complain it in. That's how we go. Well, on the list, we're going to get to pretty much everyone. The only person whose list we won't get to who has submitted one is Calamity, and that's because we did look at Calamity's list last week. So if you're here and you want to look at your list now, do shout up. I can see Hasaflavor, so we can go with yours next. I should say has a flavour. I noticed that you have got spaces on your name in Discord, so it's all one word. But yeah, anyone who wants to be after this Demons list, do shout up, and we can look at yours next up. So this one I think is very interesting. So running as a sort of points denial list, all characters are in the bus of demonettes. Crushes are for additional magic hate. Am I cooking or is this cooked? This is an interesting list. It took, like, when I was putting it in, because I went down top to bottom, and I put it in, and I didn't really understand up until you put the text at the bottom. I was like, no, I do get that. That does make sense. So, what this is hinging around is we've got double demonology caster. Neither demon prince has wings, which is because they're going to be joining the big brick of demonettes. And there's a lot of layered buffs here that make a lot of sense to me. So the general is the one with Aetherblade. In fact, is that the way that you've got it around, or have I just clicked that? Let me double check. Yeah. So what you've done is you've gone general with Aetherblade and Demonology. Then you've got a regular level 4 with Enrapturing Gaze. And Enrapturing Gaze, sorry, Aetherblade on the first one ignores all armor saves. Enrapturing Gaze, enemy models engaged in combat with this model cannot use the Inspiring Presence special rule. I don't know that this is super worth doing. I'm not sold on this upgrade, but I guess it's at 20 points. It's not doing that much. I'd be more tempted to go for Soporific Musk, and it's not necessarily super important because of something we'll get to in a second, but this is more interesting to me. Just to double check what else there is. You can make them not charge you. Doesn't feel super worthwhile. Allure of Slanesh is whatever, and then we've got this on another model anyway. So I don't think there's really anything else that I'd go for. You could go for the Demonic Robes and make this the General. That's another option that you could go with in terms of upgrades. But yeah, I think I'd be making this one the General, the one that's less valuable, because I think the Aetherblade, realistically, that's the one that people are going to want to kill first because it's going to be doing a lot more damage. Demonology is good. If you're going for a Death Star, Demonology is the #1 spell. Infantry, Steed of Shadows, you've got 2 chances of getting it. If neither caster rolls a 1, you are very sad, but that's unlikely. So this gives you Fly 12 on your unit until your next start of turn subphase, which is obviously just great at getting around. You can march 24 inches. You've got a pretty solid magic missile as well, so it gives you a little bit of flexibility if your opponent's playing like pesky elves and doesn't want to engage. Onto the Lore of Demons. We've got the Cacophonic Hymn. You can give a unit Stupidity. I don't like this. It remains in play, but you do roll for Stupidity before that point, so you still get the effect out of it. I don't know. I probably wouldn't change into this. I'd just take the Demonology signature. Obviously, the other 2 spells in here that are very good. Demonic Vessel to give them +1 strength and attacks and AP, and also Demonic Vigor to give them +1 to movement, toughness, and initiative. Just remember that this movement modifier doesn't stack with the fly move because it's to a maximum of 10. Yes, the signature spell is bad. Yes, that's very true. So you've got like a pretty beefy unit. Here's the problem. Both of those buffs only last until your end of turn. So when you're being charged, which is pretty likely for an infantry unit, because Steed of Shadows is cast in the remaining moves phase, so you don't get to do the long bomb charge, unfortunately, because it's a conveyance spell. That means you're going to be taking charges quite a lot, and that's okay, because we've got here the big brick of Demonettes, full command with the Rapturous Standard. So this gives any enemy unit charging the front a disordered charge. This is something that you see with Dwarves, which is kind of whatever for Dwarves, but Demonettes have a really high initiative stat. Disordered charge means that you don't get initiative bonuses when you charge, and given that Demonettes are initiative 5 base, that's pretty solid. They're going to be striking first most of the time. And then you've got the Demon Princes as well, who are initiative 7. So they're going to be striking first basically all of the time. Especially if you were to give one of them the, strikes last aura to turn off that pesky strikes first for elves. That's the main reason that I would see for going for it. So here, Demonettes are interesting. So they are obviously made out of tissue paper. T5 with no armor save, and they've got a conditional ward save that gets turned off by magical attacks, which does suck. But, that's the way it goes. And they've got 2 attacks, 1 attack here, and then 1 attack from the Piercing Claws, which is Strength User, Strength 3, AP 1, Armor Bane 2. That's a pretty good weapon, because they've got good weapon skill as well. They're weapon skill 4, and if you hit them with the Demonic Vessel, they become Strength 4, AP 2, Armor Bane 2, with 3 attacks each. That's a blender. However, it's just keeping them alive that's the hard bit. In this unit as well, we've got the Demonic Locus, and Demonic Locus is important because it means that you lose less wounds from demonic instability, which is when you lose leadership tests. I don't think this unit's going to be losing a lot of combats, but your opponent's going to be going for the multi-charges. Banner of Unholy Victory, plus D3 combat res, that's just a really nice banner to have. I don't think you've got enough points to put it on here, do you? No, you don't. Okay, that's fine. And then it's not a caster, on foot, Infernal Rapturous. Infantry only, and it gives you +1 to cast on your spells and -1 to cast for enemy spells within your command range. You're a BSB, so it's 12. Hassa says the other thing was maybe switch 1 to battle magic. Don't know if it's better. The problem is you can't guarantee spells, so I think you go either double battle magic or you go double demonology, and I think you go either for the ward save. But the ward save, you've already got like a ward save most of the time. Sure, you don't have it against magic missiles, but it feels bad to lean into battle magic for that. I see why you'd go for it, but because you've got no sort of consistency with getting your spells, I think demonology is probably better. You just gotta, live with it. 2 units of Furies, which are just very good. Demons of Khorne. So Khorne gives you +1 strength on the charge. And Hatred, Nurgle, or whatever. And they've got 1 attack plus 1 attack for Furious Charge. They're 2 attacks at strength 5 on the charge with AP 1. So that's a lot of attacks coming in. And they're Fly 8 with Skirmish and Swift Stride. And Vanguard as well. So this is just a fantastic unit in general. That's where you came down on it. Yeah. No, that makes sense. And then you've got a unit of 4 Blood Crushers of Khorne. I've put them in special. They should be in rare because there's no Khorne. I can't be bothered to move them over. What they've been given is full command and the Great Standard of Sundering. Now, the Great Standard of Sundering is -1 to cast for enemy wizards if they can see it. This, I'm not sold on, because a lot of wizards will be able to just hide behind units. But also, it just gives your opponent another sort of, aspect to play around with. And they're relatively tanky. By demon standards, by non-Nurgle demon standards. T4, 3 wounds, with a 4-up save between the light armored barding and armored hide. And then they've got magic resist 1. I really don't like that they have impetuous. That worries me a lot. Hey Matt, how you doing? So, I like what you've gone for here. I am not convinced in practice that this will actually matter, because I think a lot of casters can just avoid it or angle the unit so that they're not in the charge. Because wizards don't typically want to be charging. It doesn't matter which way they end up facing. So if they're a skirmisher on foot or on steed, they maybe just hide, block their vision with something else. Or you go, you just stay out of line of sight arc if you're a non-skirmish unit. So, the thing that I'm wondering is, because I like the points denial aspect you've gone for, do we swap the Blood Crushers for equivalent points in Plague Drones? Because I think Plague Drones are the toughest unit you can get, right? Or is it Beasts of Nurgle? Let's just double check. Beasts of Nurgle are 4 wounds, T5, with... I don't think they've got any armor save. But they've got the 5-up regen in there. How many points are Beasts of Nurgle? 62. And then we've got the Plague Drones, which is 63. So they're very comparable. The Plague Drones are T5, 3 wounds, so 1 wound less. But they've got fly, they've got a worse regen. They are more useful. They do have a ranged attack as well. So even though this unit is not as tanky, I wonder if it's really not that good. Do they really not have any armor save? That feels so bizarre to me. I know armor is Khorne's thing, but these aren't more tanky than... Maybe beasts. Like, let's have a look at how beasts come in. So, they are impetuous, which I don't love, but we had that problem already. Poison attacks, run attacks. The writhing tentacles are armor bane 1 and AP 1. That's fine. What does this look like? You just go 5 of them as points now. I don't love that. No armor and they get slapped with the falcon horn. Yeah. The plague drone prone. Probably not. I think you could go slightly tankier with the plague drones, but honestly, looking at them, they're not as tanky as I would like expect them to be. So, I mean, this feels fine. Plague drones have skirmish and flies, so they avoid stuff. Yeah, apart from in the Bretonnian matchup, but that is a good point. They are easier to keep around. But because you've got theoretically a less mobile brick of infantry, if you get shut down by spells or whatever. Like if your casting doesn't go off, or if you, worst case scenario, don't roll it, having this unit as like a flank protecting countercharge unit, I don't hate. I think this is interesting. I think this is really interesting. I don't like Enrapturing Gaze. We're going to get rid of that because I don't think it's correct. Like, I don't see that adding all that much. It makes the fear tests easier to pass, but I'm not sold on it. Whereas if we go, it's a lure, isn't it? Nope. Siren Song. Nope. Soporific Musk. There we go. Turn off strike class. And it also gets us exactly to 2,000 points. At which point I would make the Aether Blade the general again, because people are going to really want to kill the strikes last guy as the numero uno. I think if Falcon Horde doesn't exist, I'd lean more towards the plague drones. But just having one matchup where all they do is sit at the back of the board, I don't love it. I do not love that. But this is good. I like it. I'm concerned about the tankiness of the Demonettes. So I've written this list, but with, you know, Plague Bearers instead. The problem is they're on 30 mils, so your characters don't fit inside the squad. As in your Demon Princes don't fit inside. So you've got to put them on the edges of the unit, which makes it a lot less tanky, unfortunately. But, you know, they are T4, and they have got the inbuilt regen. I think this needs testing. I'd be very excited to see how this does, because I think this is a very cool concept for a build. So, have you got any games with it lined up? That's why you're trying the Demonettes. Yeah. Because I think Khorne Bloodletters are on 30s as well. Yeah. I mean, they're not good. They're T3 with a 6-up armor save. Got some lined up next week. Hell yeah, I'd love to hear how it goes. If you do post on the Discord, please do ping me, because I'm genuinely curious as to how this list performs. I think it's a really fun theme, and I'm looking forward to. Hopefully, it's good, because demons need a little bit of love, I think. All right. Well, I can see that Matthew's joined, so we can look at Matthew's list next. That would make sense to me. Matthew was wanting a Blork list. We'll see. Yeah, we will see. I have faith. Just play it really well, and then any list is fine, right? So Matthew says, can you make a Black Orc Chariot Heavy Nomadic list work? You also have a bunch of Wolf Riders and Kicknick I'd love to include, but I don't feel too strongly you could add more Boars or Wolves. Dog Chariots tend to provide something of a road bump to try and get charges. 2 sources of combat res, Wolves and BSB, to complement the harder hitting units, Wyvern/Boars. I know Block Chariots aren't great, but other stuff should create some opportunities for them. Got Pump Wagons and a Giant too. So the first thing I noticed, was this deliberate? On your Black Orcs, you haven't gone for the great weapons. Is that a deliberate choice? You've gone for the additional hand weapons. I don't know why it takes so long between playing songs. It's very jarring. Just left alone with my thoughts. Okay, so not deliberate, just hadn't clicked them. That's fine. We'll have to rejig because it doesn't fit in here, but that's okay. And then put one in here. Okay, so where are we at? The problem I have with the Black Orc chariots and Black Orcs in general in this detachment is it means that you're not taking Boar Boys in core, and Boar Boys are the most efficient way of doing things. However, let's assume that we're going to go down that route, and we're going to build around what you've correctly identified as the most appealing reason to do it, which is Kicknick. So Kicknick's got a few rules. Stat-wise, he's 3 wounds, 4 attacks, so he's a Goblin Lord. He's Strength 4, and he's got cavalry speed. Oh, what's he got? There's a Skull Smasher. Yes, that was it. Strength, either Strength +2, AP -1, Armor Bane 2, or Strength User, AP 2, Armor Bane 2, Multiple Wounds 2. So this is interesting, because the stuff that you want to wound easily is usually the stuff that you want the multiple wounds against, and the stuff that you are less bothered about the strength, you probably want the AP on. So he's also crazy cheap. Yeah, he is crazy cheap. So I don't like, it's a weird way that the weapons are built. It feels like they're half in one way or another. I'm not necessarily against it. Maybe that's just to make you make some difficult choices, which is, you know, fun. And he is, as you say, crazy cheap. 105 points for a Lord is very nice. So there's also the Trophy Rack, which is... I've forgotten what the Trophy Rack does. Let me just have a look here. Ah, yes. Fear and +1 combat res, but it's only on a turn you feared. You charged. That is solid. I think if I'm doing this, I'm super tempted to put in the big red raggedy flag. Getting them up to weapon skill 3 and getting the wolves up to weapon skill 4 is quite nice. Even more combat res. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So I think, yeah, that's what we want to do here. Cavalry, spears, light armor. You could also drop the reserve move, because you don't have bows, right? So you could just march. You do get a little bit more flexibility with move, reserve, you know, move, open order, pivot, move, open order, pivot. But you're fast cav, so you can do like a march and an open order pivot anyway. You don't have 30 wolves, was considering going wolf start. So it's quite hard to move around the board. So I don't know that you go too big, but I think they're interesting. And a +1, -1 for ambush. Yeah, that's true. It makes ambush something that you maybe consider instead of just being an absolute no. Hello, clarification. Can anyone explain again how fear works in this edition? So, fear and terror are a little complex, so let's just pull them up. So, first of all, if a unit wants to charge against a unit that causes fear and is a higher unit strength, you've got to take a leadership test. So for Kicknick's unit, you're never taking a leadership test to be charged against. If it failed, the unit cannot charged. If it's engaged in combat that has fear and higher unit strength in combat, you take a leadership test. If you fail it, you're -1 to hit. Basically, fear only matters if you've got a high unit strength. So it's really good for undead, who typically have cheap models and large unit strengths, but a lot of the time, not particularly impressive for anyone else. It's not bad for the Goblin Wolf Riders, because they're unit strength 2 each, so you've got a unit strength 32. It's okay. I don't mind it. Let's have a look what we've got here. You went... Have I given you the right banner on here? I was thinking you'd use ambush if you hit a full send army, threaten rear charges, deploy and go full send otherwise. Does that work? Does Kicknick or Sneaky Knight? Huh. I wonder if... Does this rule apply when he's off the board? Because he has ambushes. Anyway, that's a thought for another day. You've gone for the War Banner, which is interesting. Is that deliberate for the additional charge range? I guess it gets you... What? Because you're on a chariot which moves 7, 10, so you can declare 16, which is not bad. It's like a mini Swift Stride. Yeah, no worries, Anthony. I think this is interesting. We're still 2 points too many, so we need to cut something. But that is fine. What else we got here? War Magic, Idler Mork. Idler Mork is the reroll the Dispel, right? Yeah. It is really nice. And then Thinking Orc's hat. So this would be to turn off Impetuous on the Wolf Star. Could cut it, but felt nice. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't hate that because you combo it with the War Magic spell, right? Here we go. So you can theoretically declare 19 inches, which people wouldn't expect from a chariot. And the 27 inches spell. Yeah, that's nice. I feel like Impetuous does suck. The problem is, with 2 points over here, because the big boss hasn't got a great weapon either in the list that you put in. It literally just is hand, weapon, and shield, which I get gets you to a 2-up save, but if you're playing aggressive with the War Banner, you probably want to be going more for the output, right? How do we cut some points? We are struggling to cut points here. Because really we want to go for a great weapon as well. The question becomes, do we just accept our fate and we take off the Thinking Orc's hat? Yeah, no worries, man. It's easy to miss things when you put lists together. If we take off, if we just accept that we're going to be playing aggressively. Oh god, I hate that so much because this unit doesn't want to be charging everything. I feel like we realistically do have to have the hat on. The points just don't quite work. Maybe we just have to drop the Idol of Mork. Like, it's really nice to have, but yeah. Get rid of that. Wild Banner could go. Yeah. So we're 6 points over. The thing that I would go with is just go for a War Banner. That gets you to static combat res of 4. Banner, BSB, War Banner, and then 1 for Close Order. And then if you call a war, you've got a 5th one. And this unit can take a charge, so you can use it in that sort of like either follow-up charge, or you can use it to bait out a charge and then hit them with something else, pin them in place. That does solve the problems you've got here in the points department. This unit's great. Full command, I'd probably drop the boss, honestly, because you're not having any characters attached to it. I don't really want to get challenged out, I think, a lot of the time. Cavalry spears, heavy armor, shields, big, and vanguard. This is great. And then Banner of Butchery gets you to that strength 6, just really nice. Given the other mistakes as possible, War Banner is what I was trying for. That's what I typically go for. I really like the big raggedy flag on there, because that gets you to weapon skill 7, so the incoming attacks are really unlikely to do anything. But I think you really want it on this Wolf Rider mob, because weapon skill 2 is so punishing. Weapon skill 3 is not great, but it's better. And that puts us 21 points over. And we haven't gone standards on the other Black Orc chariots, because they give up points too easily. I think this is basically there, honestly, bud. Maybe we just drop 1, 2, 1995. 13 feels a bit low. I'm going to drop 1 of the chariots. I think 2 is a good number. And I'd rather have... There we go. And that leaves us 6 points. Is there anything for 6 points that we're super passionate about having? Oh! We drop the shield here. And we go for a charm shield. There we go. Just give you that once per game 5-up ward. When you get shot by a cannonball, you'll thank me. But I think, yeah, I think the bones of the list should work. You've got a big brick of Wolf Riders that will hit reasonably hard. I'd love to get another character in there. Don't need a Wolf Chariot, they're kind of done in a lot of games. Yeah. I think this is good. I like this. You've kept the Dispel, which is really nice. I'm going to send him a funny list you wrote in the last days for Nomadic War. Yeah. If you post it in the Orcs and Goblins chat, I'll have a look at it in a sec. Or after this. I'm curious to see. It's MJH, isn't it? There we go. Sweet. That is your list as well. Perfect. Anyone else in chat who has submitted a list that I should look at next? 65 wolves. Alright, I'm going to have a quick look at this while we see if anyone else is around. Let's have a look here. Hey, Voltron. Excellent. I was going to say, if there's no one here, we'll move on to Voltron, because they submitted their list first. Yours is the last list. All right. Perfect. Well, we'll do it in order of what people said in Twitch chat, or YouTube chat, I should say. So we'll go Voltron, then we'll go Lucra, and then we'll go for yours, Anthony, as well. So, Bretonnians. This was a different list to what you were normally playing, I believe you were saying. Let's have a look here. So, this was, you usually run a different list. It's for an RTT. Curious to see what I would change. And I think that might have been all of the text for it. Oh yeah, cool. Nice and simple. So, you have made an interesting choice. And that is to go for a Duke and then give them the Ogre Blade combo. The problem with the Duke is Ogre Blade's obviously great, but a lot of the strength comes from the number of attacks and rerolls that you get from Virtue of Knightly Temper. And you don't have enough points to go for the Gromil Great Helm, even without the Syrian's Locket, which means that you end up being surprisingly tanky, and you still need to be attached to a unit. Unless you close to runners in the Bretonnian channel. Yeah, so I like the character that can do the Ogre Blade shenanigans. I just don't know if it's better than the Virtue of Heroism Duke, who comes in at roughly the same points, and you go for the Killing Blow Monster Slayer. That's the main sort of point of contention that I have here. But if you're going to keep them attached to the Pegasus Knights anyway, and you have got 2 units of Peg Knights, I guess it's not really the end of the world. It's not like a big problem there. So I think that's one that needs testing. Because my gut feel is you're probably better off playing the 2-up save with rerolling 1s on the Duke and going for the Virtue of Heroism and the Lance. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you don't need to do that and you can get away with just putting it in a unit of 3 or what have you and going from there. Another thing I did notice is the banners. I just wanted to double check. I thought that banner was locked to... Yeah, so Banner of Honourable Warfare. No, it's any. I don't know why I thought that was locked to Exiles. Excellent stuff. It's a really good banner and people should be running it. Alright, so let's go through the list then. We've got the Ogre Blade character, who I think... Test it, see how you feel about it. Obviously, you know what the good loadout for the Heroic Killing Blow character is if you want to swap over. Green Knight is just solid. Lady Elise, I really like Lady Elise. For people who don't know, she's got so many rules. So the main one here is she is... Where has it gone? Arcane Backlash. She casts Dispels at +1, and she's only a level 3, so she Dispels at +4. However, if she rolls any natural double other than a natural 1, it auto dispels, and the wizard immediately loses a single wound. The losing a wound is a nice bonus. Really, you're taking it for having the, the 5 in 36 chance of just auto dispelling, which is really nice. I think more people should run her, honestly. And then we've got a paladin with lance, heavy armor, shield, magic. No magic banner, yeah, just nice and cheap. BSB because it's free, makes sense. You put quite a lot of points into this unit of Knights of the Realm. Only 6 models, and you gave them move through cover and war banner and full command. And then you've got a second unit that is just, just a first knight. I think if I'm putting this much investment into a unit of Knights of the Realm, I probably want it to be a slightly bigger unit, I'm thinking. Especially because you probably want to attach the Paladin to it, and maybe more... maybe Lady Elise as well. So I'd probably go up to 8 here. And to get around that, drop the Peasants. You've ran that more than Heroism, been good for you. One-shot most things minus a dragon so far. That's fair. Yeah, if you've got had good experiences with it, fair play to you. Here, I would probably lose the first knight. I'd be more willing to take a musician, because you don't want to be challenged outright if you charge something that's just a single character. And ideally, you'd want to go up to 6 as well, but I'm not sure that's possible here. You definitely want to drop the standard bearers on the peasants, because when a standard bearer dies, it gives up points. Here we go. So you get 50 points for a standard bearer if it's claimed either destroyed in combat or run down while fleeing. So your 55-point unit becomes worth 105 points, which is really, really pricey. Pricier than you want to give up. So take the standard bearers off for those. If you've got standards modelled, just say, you know, I like these, but they're not actually physically there. This is just for them to rally around. Wait, peasants don't give up the banner VP? Really? Huh. Right in the middle of the paragraph. Eyes glazed over. Okay, interesting. Huh. I think I still wouldn't take it, because I don't want my peasants to be charged. But that is interesting. You know what, I'm going to put it back in, just because it gets you to 500 points exactly on on core. Yeah. Okay. And then obviously you got the Pegasus Knights. I really like this loadout, where you've got the full command for the unit that's probably going to have the character bunkered in. And you've got the Banner of Shalon, so you can't be standing shot. And then you've got a unit of 3 with... I'd give him a musician, and we've freed up points to give it a musician now. Banner of Honourable Warfare. For people who don't know, you reroll all failed rolls to hit made during the first round of combat when engaged with an enemy equipped with any missile weapons. So, just as a general note for Bretonnian players, not necessarily this list, if you're playing versus an army that has, you know, like a dragon that you're trying to kill, having that banner, the Banner of Honourable Warfare, and having your heroic killing blow character, the Duke, attached to the unit that rerolls all hits. Dragons have breath weapons. Dragons' breath weapons are ranged attacks. Banners apply to everyone attached to the unit, including characters. So that means that the Duke will have rerolls to hit, which means you're much more likely to get the killing blow. So definitely would recommend that. Ginger Steve, you've dropped a teams listing. Can't help yourself. It's for Joe from Liam's channel, and he isn't good or practice at Old World. Just trying to keep me up. All right. You know you're more than welcome to do that, so that's not a problem. Yeah, I like this. I think I've tweaked the core a little bit here on the basis of you're probably attaching the paladin to one of the units, so you want that unit to be alive a bit more. But I don't think there's much wrong with it. Lady Elise, we don't see a lot of people playing Lady Elise, because she does have less offensive output. Or like, she's less use in casting, she's just magic defense. But I like it, I think it's good. And also, you say you like this variation of the Duke, so fair play to you. Yeah, I think that's about that one. Maybe I'd be tempted to swap the banners around. I'm not sure on that one. Maybe I'd use the unit of 3 as the bunker for the character. I'm not sure. Thoughts are out on that one. The 5's probably still the correct choice because you don't want it to die. You have fun with Elise. That's the main thing. You know, hitting that double dispel and just watching someone's heartbreak is great. And she's good. It was more kind of like a 1A 1B comparison, so I can see this. I don't think this needed much tweaking, honestly. So let's just put this one in, and oh, pardon me. Lovely stuff. So, who was next up? We had Lucra's Beastmen. Ah, yes, of course. So, I did want to ask about this one. Where is this in the list? Further up, I think. Perfect. Yeah, so, Lucra, or Louise, or, is Lewis still here? This is an interesting take on Beastmen. It's not one that I've seen before. There's a double chariot. Hey, excellent stuff. What is the context of what you're trying to do with your list? Like, what's the goal for it? Is it for like trying to put a tournament together, or what's the goal? Or is it just sort of like for playing with local friend group, that sort of jobby? so eerily quiet when the music stops, and then there's a massive pause between the the songs. Oh, there we go. We're back with some music. Never played Beastmen before, so the theme of the list is to be full melee, not have a large target. Maybe want to play it in the German combo. But okay, cool. So if you're taking this to tournaments, I think it just changes how I would criticize it. I think so because I think there's some fun stuff in here that's maybe less. Oh, there's restrictions like max 4 heavy chariots and monsters. Okay, I do remember vaguely looking at German comp. There are some things in here that I think are interesting, but maybe not ideal. First of all, unfortunately, the Beast Lord isn't legal. You can't have gnarled hide on him because that is infantry only. This does get past people, you know. That is something that I had to tell someone at a tournament recently that they couldn't have. And, you know, I'm sure it was a genuine mistake. It's just easy to miss. It says infantry only. So that does lose you a bit of a save here, which is a real shame. However, I do like the Giant's Blade Gouge Tusks combo, because it gets you up to strength 6, so 4 attacks at strength 6, AP 1, armor bane 2, damage 2. It's a cheap ogre blade. It's not quite an ogre blade, but it's still pretty solid. You've gone for Pelt of the Dark Young as well, which I think is absolutely fine, but it does only get you to a 3-up armor save, because you've got the heavy armor, shield, and then the Pelt, which is +1 to your armor save, and also magic resist 2. Which is, you know, it is fine. It's not as good as you would have had it with the armored hide as well. But you haven't used Talisman Protection, so I definitely would say put Talisman Protection in there. And that gets you to a higher level of protection than you were beforehand. The Wargore is just hand weapon, shield, blackened plates. That gets you to a 3-up save with the War Banner. It's a real shame that you can't take a second ward save, because it's tanky-ish. You've got a 3-up ward save against flaming attacks, which is not bad. I am a little worried that it's going to fall over, because you are T5, you've got 6 wounds with the chariot, and you've got a 3-up armor, 3-up armor save. But I think it's list dependent, and if you want to go with the double chariots, it's not a bad way to do it. The Brave Shaman, you've gone for the Horn of the First Beasts, which I think is just, like, it's nice in theory, but you've not committed enough for it to be worthwhile to take, realistically. So we can save some points there. You went for Lore Familiar, which means you're not taking Vile Tide, which is one of the best ways of dealing with the big beasties. But you have gone for Demonology and Sloke Skin, so you're treating this as like a Death Star character that's going to give this unit the ability to fly around the board, you know, buff them up so they actually hit reasonably hard, which is fair enough. It's definitely one way that you can build them. We've got the Gore Herd, which is the unit that it's going to be joining. So they've got poisoned attacks from the Vitriolic Standard, Vitriolic Totem. They've got a True Horn with a Great Weapon, you know, full command, and they've got additional hand weapons, I believe. Let me just double check. I think I may have forgotten to click that one. Yes, they have got additional hand weapons. I just hadn't clicked it. This is, because you have to take this unit, I don't mind this as a sort of relatively tough but cheap Death Star, because when you put, you know, it's 550 points all told by the time you attach your character to it, and it's T4 as well, which is quite nice. Each model's relatively cheap. 3 Resgore Herds. Resgores are just good. 3 into Warhounds. You could definitely cut one of these. 2 with Vanguard is really nice. The 3rd, I think you lose some efficiency on. So if we just cut that, so we see where our points are. Then you've gone 3 Dragon Ogres with a Shartak, 2 with a Shart, and then an individual Shartak, individual Shartak, 2 Razorgore Chariots, and then 5 Harpies. I think for the big unit of Dragon Ogres, I would drop the Shartak there, and then I'd also just squeeze another one in. And then we only have to find 11 points, which is not hard to do. 4 Dragon Ogres with great weapons is a really threatening charge. Even dragons don't particularly love it, because you're going to be hitting them on 4s, sure, but then you're strength 7, so you're wounding on 3s, and any 6s to wound are going to be AP 4. So this unit, like, a dragon's still going to charge you, but you've got a decent chance of tearing some chunks out of it, which I think is important, because you haven't got the Vile Tide combo to shoot them down. Otherwise, yeah, like, within the list themes that you're going for, like, I can see you've basically gone you've got 4 chariots, 2 of them are characters, and then you've got 3 Razor Gore, which are basically mini chariots, and then you've got the Shartax, which are kind of mini chariots in their own way, and then you've got a big bus of Dragon Ogres as well. Harpies are just a good skirmishing unit, and yeah, I think this is solid. So let's just cut the 11 points. How are we going to do this? I think 11 points is a difficult amount to cut because we have to be precise with it, and these are 7 points. Okay, so that's not it. This is going to be... How do we do this? I don't really want to cut a shield from them because that's what they're leaning on. There's nothing that we can cut here, is there? Slug skin is probably important for the melee brick. So slug skin gives the unit -1 to be hit, which is really nice. And it makes them a very defensive unit. Do individual Shartax actually get value? Haven't encountered that before. Yeah, they're pretty decent. Like, they're probably the best 70 points you can spend just across the board for non-character units. As cheap individual, like, redirectors, move blockers, units that can hold things up and just do some damage go, they're pretty decent. T4 4 wounds with a 3-up save is surprisingly good, especially when they get a 5-up ward save against magic missiles. They're good points denial. They're hard to get the points off of. And it's a lot of, like, full damage potential. You just move forwards, right, with everything. So it gives you more bases, more charges. And they've got a very small frontage, so it's easy to fit them into a combat. Yeah, so we were back to trying to work out how we're cutting these points. Because honestly, I'm a little bit bamboozled. I don't really want to cut points on anything else. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to dropping the Harpies, but I don't really want to drop the Harpies, you know? Razor Gore standards, Razor Gore chariots are just good. Maybe get rid of the Razor, but ambush Centaurs to not waste the Brayhorn. Let's say the Brayhorn. Yeah, I mean, it's a rule that you can have. I'm not sold on... So, ambushing... Centaurs have their own problems. I think Centaurs are really unreliable, and I'm not a fan of putting points into them. The ambush as well, even though you get a reroll, you still could theoretically just fail. So I think you're layering two fail states just to get use out of a rule that I don't think is particularly useful. Alright, let's just go line by line. Is there anything we can take off here? So you keep the shield, you keep the chariot, you keep all of those upgrades. That's fine. Wargore, you keep the BSB, that's fine. You've got your 3-up save. And you fight 3-up against flaming. This is as cheap as it gets. Yep. The fact that it's 11 points is so frustrating. Like, maybe the Harpies are the thing that just goes, right? Is that better? And then we just go... You add 3 squads of Warhounds in. Warhounds can do a kind of similar job to Harpies. Worse, but kind of similar. And then that lets us just go 2 more Gore. Feel free to play around with the specifics to get it where you want it. I think this is solid, though, for the theme. What I will say is, I think, unfortunately, this is just worse than running the Viletide caster, because the Viletide caster can kill dragons. Your list is going to struggle to kill dragons, but if you want to do something different, I think this is a really interesting take on it. I don't hate what you've gone with at all. I think this is fun. This is a good full send list that should be okay into anything apart from dragons, basically. Lovely, lovely stuff. So, you're absolutely welcome, Lewis. If you play it and you don't like the way that certain things go, feel free to post in the Beastmen channel, give me a ping, and we can talk about any other changes that you might want to make. But yeah, I like that you've basically got just a full wall of meat, and I think you said that somewhere in the channel, if I'm correct, or maybe I'm making that up. But it is just a full, do you have the stats to get through, which is very Beastmen. Very, very Beastmen. Okay, so who else did we have? With the third person was... yes. We've got the Orcs and Goblin list from Anthony himself. So this was kind of similar to the other Orcs and Goblins list. I think, is it Tizzy's? Let me just have a quick look. Yeah, so we'll talk about this one, and then we'll go into Tizzy's, because I think there's a lot of similarities between the two, and it saves me just sort of saying the same thing, but half an hour removed. So you've gone for a war boss on Wyvern, and you've gone for full plate shield, and you've gone for the very violent battle axe of the last big war. Now, is this something that you're emotionally attached to, or do you just want to go for a very aggressive war boss? Are you willing to drop the battle axe for Ogre Blade? Because if you do this, you can take the Talisman of Protection as well. Arguably, you're going to do more damage because of the multiple wounds. You know, you lose the random attack stat, but you gain random damage. You're still strength +2, AP -2. You've got a better save in combat because you can keep the shield as well. And then we've got... you say, yep. Is that you're willing to go for the Ogre Blade? Because I think the Ogre Blade is does the same thing you're looking for, but just a little bit better. Holy shit. Thank you very much, Ginger Steve. That's super generous of you. And I don't know if it's going to pop up with everyone on screen here, but thank you so much. That's very generous. If you have received a membership, please now click the prize icon. Absolutely. If you have received a membership, make sure that you post in the Needs Roll channel saying that you need a roll, and that way I will apply it to you on Discord. And you'll be able to see the VIP section where there are, you know, various channels. We do the pick my list. You get priority for fix my lists. There is a VIP Discord voice channel as well that I've made, and I have. What was I going to say? Yes. We were doing some hobby in it last night, so that was quite nice just to chill and talk to people. Ginger generosity indeed. That is incredibly generous. You've had a good week. Hell yeah. Appreciate that. I haven't, honestly, but that has definitely helped. I'm not saying that I'm finding it unpleasant to build those Wolf Rider chariots, but when I said, yeah, no worries, I'll build all of those, I didn't comprehend the drudgery of them. They're okay. They're not too bad. They're just, like, it's such a small kit in terms of the parts, you find that you're doing the same pieces over and over again. So I'll be glad to be done them. I've done 6 this week so far. I think I'll see if I can knock a 7th one out before I go to bed, and then just, you know, finish them up next week. That's the goal anyway. All right. So let me just see if I got a response. Yeah, perfect. All right, yeah, so assuming that you're okay with going for Ogre Blade and Talisman Protection, I think this makes this a genuinely... Jeweler's file just charged. You've already sent me some files, bud. Like these ones here, and they make a huge difference. It's literally just a case of, you know, it feels a little bit Groundhog Day because you're doing the same thing. Oh, thank you very much, Voltron. Appreciate the upgrade there as well to Ground Light tier. Or I think the subscription. I don't think you were. So many people who can now join the ERP channel. Yeah, it's where we do the late night ASMR. That's what it is. That is what it is. Perfect. Okie dokie. So. I keep trying to say. Yeah, there we go. So we've got our Choppy Black Oak War Boss, and I think this is fun. And honestly, I think this is maybe something I want to play around with in general. Because sure, the full tanky one is quite good, and the rules you do get, Chopper's getting your great weapon to AP3 on the charge is really nice, and the reroll ones. But maybe you just want to actually go toe-to-toe with a dragon. And you're not beating a Chaos Dragon, but maybe you can go toe-to-toe with like a lesser dragon if you've got the Ogre Blade. I don't know. Requires thinking. Jewelers are for metal. I'll have a look into it, mate. I'll send you a message on Monday if I do end up needing some. I tend to try and have my weekends off and keep my sanity a little bit. So you've got a BSB Goblin Big Boss here. I'd give it at least light armor and shield. It probably won't make much difference, but just in case it does, it's worth chucking on. You've got a Big Boss here with great weapon, light armor, shield on foot as well. That's absolutely fine. And then you've got a level 4 Illusion Idol of Gork. So Idol of Gork is it's nice. Plus 3-inch range to your spells, and you get to reroll a casting roll. I am worried. If I'm taking illusion, there's some very specific spells I want from it. So I'm going to say I think you need to take Lore Familiar here. And realistically, you probably want a couple of power scrolls as well, because the spells that you're going to cast are quite high. Column of Crystal is cast on a 10. Miasmic Mirage is cast on 11. You really want to make sure they go off, because when you need to cast them, they probably are super important to cast. So that's good to have there. And we're still, plenty below on our cap for characters, so you've got a stronger level 4 there. Into core, you've got 23 Black Orcs, and I did appreciate that you've just gone for the full shields, and I think it was, from the points, it looked like it was 20 great weapons and 23 shields, I think, so not much messing around with the, whatchamacallums. You've gone Stubborn Veteran, makes sense to me. This is kind of like a big points denial anchor unit, full command, big red Ragdy flag. I think that's really solid. I do like that. 2 units of Goblin Wolf Riders. You didn't have weapons on there. I think they're probably short bows. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they look, because they've given them reserve move, I'm assuming they're short bows. Then you've got 30 Night Goblins, and it didn't say on there, but I think you'd given them Boss Musician, Netters, and Fanatics, if I'm correct. I'd say you can probably drop the Netters. It doesn't, in reality, do all that much, but we can come back to add them if it's something you're really, really passionate about having. The Boar Boys here. This is a great unit. You've given it the Cav Spears, the Heavy Armor, the Shields, and the Biggins. You don't have a magic standard. Orcs and Goblins have the best magic standards in the game, like in terms of quantity of how many good ones there are. I think Banner of Butchery is an auto take because it gets you to Strength 6. So basically, turns you into 2 wound, Strength 6 AP2 on the charge, which is really nice. And you've got the Armor Bane one as well from the Cav Spears. Plus you get the reroll ones. So I think that's a good upgrade to have. You've gone double Doom Diver and then a Giant. Now the Giant is the thing that's obviously the least competitive in here. However, when you've included something like this, I'm assuming it's because you like having it. And that is super fair. And the rest of the list is pretty decent. So I'd say, yeah, absolutely. I'd say if you want to keep the Giant in, which super reasonable to do, all we need to do is we need to cut 70 points. And I think the way we do that is let's just cut some of this big unit of Black Orcs, because you've got more than enough points in your core. So if we go down to, let's go down to 18. Oh, we can actually, because if we go down at 18 great weapons, 18 shields, still gives us some additional points here. I wonder if there's anything else that we want to put in. Let's have a look. There's not really much else that you'd want to add, honestly. Ordered it's a test. Tell me if they're any good. Will do, sir. Will do. I will give a detailed feedback. Imp says, what tool are you building the list in? This is Old World Builder, one of the many different ways that you can build lists. Obviously, we've also got New Recruit, and Lewis has one that he was sponsored by, which honestly I've forgotten the name of by. And that's just because I haven't used that myself. He quite likes it. I feel bad. I can't remember what it's called. Does he have Wallopers One Hit Wonder? He doesn't. You know what, Anthony? I feel like you're the sort of guy who would enjoy the Wallopers One Hit Wonder. I think that's a really good shout. So I think we should squeeze that in. And again, feel free to take this out if you don't like the direction of it. But obviously the Wallopers One Hit Wonder, once per game, you get to make your attacks at Strength 10 AP3 strikes first. Which is just honestly hilarious. The downside is that it's attached to a Goblin. It's not that much of a downside. For 15 points, it's really nice. And then we're 6 points over, so we need to cut a little bit. And I think before you had everyone with shields and then through that great weapons. We're just going to do that as well. It takes us to exactly 2,000 points. So that is, there we go. But as always, if there's anything that you're not sure about, feel free to message me, put it in the Orcs and Goblins channel and ping me, and we can tweak. But yeah, I like it. The only sort of inefficient choice in there is the Giant, but everyone's allowed to have their fun pet unit. I think that's pretty cool. What an item. Yeah, yeah, it's 15 points. It's a lot of fun. The downside is that you're low weapon skill, so you're probably only hitting on 4s, but you're wounding anything in the game on 2s, which is fun. Is there any way you can get to T9? I guess Chaos Dwarves can get to T9, but it's not a good build. So yeah, perfect stuff. So we'll move quickly on to Tizzy's Orcs and Goblins, because there's a lot of very similar thoughts in here, because both of them are quite stationary units. Like, you've gone for a lot of infantry with some shooting. They have to come towards you, and when they do, you hit them with the really efficient Black Orcs, which it's a build I quite like. So Tizzy's got a very similar sort of build here. Hasaflavor says dwarfs with the 10 toughness rune laugh at the one-hit wonder. Well, I don't know about laugh, because they still get wounded on 4s. But I do argue against the T10 rune at any opportunity. And it's really just so I can take the one-hit wonder. That's the joy of it. Alright, so this list is really interesting, because it's a foot general, but it's not even a lord. It's the big boss. You're welcome, Anthony. Anytime. So Black Orcs, I think, really want to be getting up to that leadership 9, because you don't have Warband. So I think, off the cuff, if we want to go for an infantry general, we want it to at least be the war boss. So we're just going to straight away make that changeover. Just equip them with the same stuff. So it's a great weapon, full plate, shield, on foot, trollhide trousers. Let's go for that. There we go. And honestly, we may as well give them charmed shield as well. Just in case you need it, drop the shit. It's 3 points more. It's just a really efficient upgrade. So we're spending 63 points more on our characters, but honestly, I think that's super worthwhile, because it gets you +1 weapon skill, so your weapon skill 7, +1 strength, strength 5, +1 attack, +1 leadership. It does give you initiative as well, but that doesn't really matter because you've got a great weapon. And then here we've got triple caster, which is honestly kind of spicy. We've got double war magic, 1 with the Idol of Mork for the spell and the extra range, 1 with the Ruby Ring of Ruin, just a good item in general, and then 1 Night Goblin Odd Knob with the Idol of Gork and Illusion. So again, I'm just going to swap this Idol of Gork over. If you're going Illusion, I think it's super important that you get the spells off that you want. So Lore Familiar, 2 Power Scrolls. We're just doing the same sort of thing. Warhammered, hey, don't want to interrupt. Too late. I read your comment and I thought it was probably worth reading. I'm an Orcs and Goblins player too, but I'm dumb and like running Goblins only lists. Any tips for a no Orc list from my man? You could do Night Goblins. If you like Night Goblins, you could do like just spamming units of Night Goblins with Fanatics. It'll be funny to play the first time. People might not want to play against you after a little while. The other thing you can do is use the Poison Banner and give a big unit of short bows poison shots and then teleport them around with travel mystical pathways. That's a very meta strat. That's something that, depending on what sort of play level you're going for, you just need to be careful about, because it's very good and a little bit unfun to play against. Doom Divers are very good. Stone Throwers as well are pretty okay. Like, they're not Doom Divers, but they're cheap. So this list is, yeah, here we go. So we've upgraded the War Boss on foot just to make them more, like, you may as well pay a little bit more, keep your general alive. Honestly, unless you've got a model restriction, put them on a War Boar, get that +1 to your save, gets you up to a 2-up save or a 3-up if you're using the Great Weapon. I'm not going to put it on, purely because I'm thinking it's probably a model restriction. When you see these sorts of lists where someone's gone for like a foot war boss, it's usually because there's a model restriction choice. But if you're looking at this and you want to play something like this, instead of having it on foot, use a war boar. Just get a little bit more out of it. Alright, big unit of Black Orcs. This is a thing of beauty. So Tizzy has gone 27 shields, 27 great weapons. I respect you can mix and match, but this just makes it your life easier on the table. Stubborn but no veteran. Again, that's fine. Like, veteran's nice to have, but if I'm picking one of the two, it's probably stubborn. Although there's no BSB in this list, so I wouldn't say no to veteran. In fact, let's just put veteran on. And then let's just go 1 point off. You know what? We're just going to accept it. We're going to accept that we're going 27 without veteran. they've gone for the big red raggedy flag, which is a really solid choice. Gets you up to weapon skill 5 in your Black Orcs, which sort of puts them in line with other elite infantry. Also gives you +1 combat res. I'd love to see a BSB in here, honestly, but maybe there's a reason not to. Special units, here we go. This is where a lot of the points have gone. So there's a cheap unit of Boar Boys, and there's an expensive unit of Boar Boys. The expensive unit has the Banner of Butchery and the Big Uns. So this is the unit, you know, with your 3-up save and your strength 6 attacks, 2 of them each. Really solid unit. And then this unit's kind of doing nothing. Honestly, this unit, if you're not doing anything with it, drop the standard, give them Frenzy, and just be like, let's go. Let's party. Let's go for as many attacks as possible. Steve says, pure Night Goblins is funny. It's just fun for everyone on your side of the table. It's funny if you have a good opponent. Yeah. If people like playing against chaotic lists, it's a very fun list to play against. However, because it comes down to dice, sometimes all your fanatics are just going to do what they're meant to do, and your opponent gets tabled in like 2.5 turns, and you go, oh, sorry, bud. And then we've got Doom Diver, Rock Lubber. I think, honestly, what I'm going to say here is let's commit to the bit. We're going for the big unit of Black Orcs. Let's put a BSB in there as well. And let's just do this. We'll go Great Weapon, and we'll go Trollhide Trousers. And we'll go for a Charmed Shield. I think this is really solid. We'll give him a War Banner as well. There we go. And, yeah, now you've got, like, a full infantry Death Star that probably doesn't die and wins pretty much all its combats. And I think if we just take out this unit here... God, we're still so many points over. How low do we have to go here? I don't really want to go down to 6. I don't mind going to, like, 12 or something. Do we really need double level 4s? For War Magic, this feels... I think maybe we just cut this, right? Oh, need another unit of Black Orcs. Yeah, that's a really good point. Thank you. So we're just going to go a regular Orc Big Boss. It's a really solid point. You can tell it's been a hot minute since I was writing Orc and Goblin lists. There we go. So this does the same thing. It's just a legal list. 1 level 4. There were 3. We've still got 2. Oh, you're saying cut 1 level 4. Yeah, I think that's the direction I'd like to go. I still need to put War Banner on it. The War Banner on it. There we go. So the 12 Boar Boys. If we go to 17, and then we just drop the boss, something like this feels perfectly fine. Like, we're just consolidating the units, and we go, we probably don't want to go 17. What if we went, like, 12, and then we went 6 here, Cav Spears, Heavy Armor, Shields. They're just over. Just a little bit over. Is there anything we can cut here? Maybe we just go for a single power scroll. Like, 2 is really good, but we're being, we're being tight. We're trying to cut points as much as possible. And then this unit, we can just go Frenzy. Oh, you give it that instead of Heavy Armor, so that's fine. Get it to 7. There we go. I like this more, I think. This feels solid. And that was the sound of my headset dying. Not that I expect you to have heard it. But, yeah, I think that is a good variation of. So hopefully Tizzy sees this. If you watch this back and you don't like any of the changes, again, just post in the Orcs and Goblin channel. Make sure you say, ping me, say what the issue is, and we can have a tweak as well. Fantastic. So we're doing pretty well here. We have got left. We've done this one. We've done this one. We're on to RP Cap's list. The No Magic Ogres. I'm still not sure that no magic is the way to go with ogres, but it is the specific theme that we're building towards. So let's have a look. I think I like the list in general. So it's a double big beastie. You've got your tyrant, you've got your bruiser. One's on a thunder tusk, one's on a stone horn. The thunder tusk is cheaper. It gives you a worse armor save. It's only a 5-up. But that's not a problem, because you're giving the Tyrant the Armour of Meteoric Iron, the Talisman of Protection. I do like that as a combo. It does also give you stomp attacks as well. Impact hits and stomp attacks, whereas the Stonehorn only gives you impact hits. So if you get caught up in a combat, you're going to get less out of the Stonehorn. Stonehorn is -1 to multiple wounds, so Ogre Blade is often just going to do a single damage to you. So it's very swings and roundabouts. However, I do not like the Biting Blade on this model. Like, I know you've gone for Giant Breaker. Don't get me wrong, Giant Breaker is good, +1 to strength, and the not being able to refuse a challenge is not a problem. Not being able to flee is a problem, because honestly, sometimes the best thing to do is just to run away. And I'm saying that, you know, I'll run away with dragons a couple of times a tournament, but it's not the end of the world. I still think that we just drop the Biting Blade here and go for the Great Weapon. Just be strength 8 with a Great Weapon. Wound dragons on 2s. I think if you're not going for an Ogre Blade, then the best thing to do is just go for a Great Weapon here. The Bruiser has got the Cannibal Totem, which is interesting. I don't think I like the Cannibal Token in this case. So Spangle Shard is a 4-up ward save, but if you roll a natural 1, it's destroyed and can't be used again. This is a good item. I think I like it less than... today's the day you learn the swings and roundabouts idiom. That's probably a very British one, honestly. Yeah, so Spangle Shard is a 4-up ward save. If you roll a 1 to save, it's destroyed, can't be used again. This is good. I like it more as my secondary ward save, so I like the way around here it is. Honestly, I think let's swap out the Cannibal Totem for a War Banner. You've got a 4-up, 5-up, and you're very wounds dense. You start off with 4 wounds, and then I think you get 3 wounds for the Stonehorn. 4 wounds, so you're 8 wounds. Also, big name. One of them should have Death Cheater. Because Killing Blow, you can just turn off their Killing Blow, or you can make them re-roll that 6 that they wound. So this character realistically isn't going to die to the Bretonnian Lord, because you've got a 4-up ward save, so, you know, in theory, even if one gets through, you're 50-50 to pass it, and you get to make them re-roll 1 6 to wound. Just really solid to have. Here, I like the Strength 8. I think Strength 8 is really solid for a Tyrant. Core is good. 2 units of Iron Guts with heavy armor, great weapons. Just a Bellower is super fine. And then Iron Ogre Balls, you have to take them. So I like giving them the Iron Fists, just make them a little bit tougher. Saber Tusks as well with Vanguard are just nice. I'm a little bothered, honestly. So they're Strength 4, 2 attacks, but they've only got hand weapons. They do have Armor Bane, and they are cheap. It's 4 attacks for 36 points, but I don't know. Weapon skill 8 as well. For what you pay, it's not bad. I'm annoyed that they don't have at least AP1. It feels like they really should have AP1. Then we've got the bit that I would tweak. So you've got 2 units of Mournfang Cavalry, and neither of them have got heavy armor, which I'm not sure if that was just a typo, maybe. As in, you just didn't put it into the list. But, yeah, I think you definitely want to be giving them, well, you definitely want to be giving them a great heavy armor. So let's just go ahead and equip them with heavy armor now. You've given 1 unit Iron Fists, which is a smaller unit. I don't hate that. I think I'd be tempted to give that unit the Bull Standard. So, you know, this is doing less damage with their weapons, because Iron Fists are only strength user. There's no AP on there. You don't have any Armor Bane on this unit, unlike the Bull. So it literally is just you getting +1 to save and an additional attack. But you've got impact hits. So you've got D3 impact hits at AP1 Armor Bane 1, and your Strength 5 as well, I believe. Strength 4. But still, you know, it's a lot of impact hits. So I think the Bull Standard here, where you're getting re-rolls on them, is probably quite nice. You can fish for those Armor Banes. And then on the unit of 4, this is where I'd go for the Cannibal Totem, because you've got one unit that's got a 4-up save because they Armored Hide and the heavy armor, and they've also got a 5-up regen, and then you've got another unit that's got a 3-up save, and I think that gives them both enough toughness to just sort of survive and get around. This does mean that we're down to, we're kind of scrapped on points, which means I think unfortunately the Yetis have to come out, which kind of sucks, honestly, because there's a bummer. At which point, I don't know what I would do, honestly, to fill these last points. It is a difficult puzzle. Is there anything here? Because 97 points is not a good amount of points to have to fill. Let's just have a look here. What have we got? You can put a gorger in. The problem is gorgers are kind of shit. That's the problem. I guess, as well, the other thing we could do is just drop down to 3. I don't like this. Oh, God, that leaves so many points. What if we take off the bull standard? And then we go back up to 4. We're still 14 points over. Maybe we just drop both musicians. Kind of sucks, but it does get us to a legal... There we go. 2,000 points. That way we managed to keep the Yetis. Oh, we don't have the Vanguard, though. Vanguard's really important for them. Okay. Is there any way to shave 6 points? So we've got 3 with the heavy armor. Great weapons. Okay, so we literally can't cut any points here. Because the heavy armor, I think, it's not a choice. You kind of just have to go for it. We can cut 3 points from core, but that's going to be very difficult to do. We just need to cut 6 points somewhere. BSB War Banner, the names. Oh, God. I'm so sad to be cutting Death Cheetah. But you're right, that probably is the way to do it. God damn it. Unless Kinita is... Yeah. Bugger. That sucks. And then we just lose Vanguard on one of the units here, and that gets us to a legal points limit. Yeah, it is the easiest. And ogres are really difficult to make cuts on. Because each body is so expensive, it means that you really just have points to make changes with. Alright, lovely. But that is the ogres. And again, if you've got any thoughts on different things or any reasons for why you made some of the choices that you did that I changed, feel free to, post in the ogre channel and ping me, and I will have a look at it. Alright, so we're on to last two. We've got Cameron's Wolves of the Sea. And this list had a name, and I think it had some disclaimer text with it. Let's have a look. Oh, yes, no, it was called Horserer General, as in horse, which I like. I find that pleasing. So. The only character we've got is a Sorcerer Lord, who has Ruby Ring Aroan, Infernal Puppet, level 4, Marcus Inch, on a Chaos Steed, Battle Magic, triple Favour of the Gods. So, I'm assuming the Favour of the Gods. That's so you can aggressively roll for the +1 leadership. That's the only thing that I can think of. However, I think a Spell Familiar is pretty non-negotiable. Oh, I did get your list. Did I put it in here? Have I just... Yes, Alvis Thunderkeg. Sorry. I had put it in. Look, there it is. I just hadn't scrolled down. But I will. What I'll do is I'll do Cameron's, and then I'll get to yours, mate. Good shout, though, because I might have missed that one otherwise. Alright, so, yeah. You definitely want Spell Familiar. Having 5 of the 6 spells, and then being able to swap into Blue Fire of Zinch is just incredibly efficient. So you can still keep a single Favour of the Gods, and that takes you to 100 points. Into core, there's a unit of 10 Marcus Inch, light armor, javelin, shields, musician, marauder horseman. This is very efficient. This is a great choice. And then we've got the berserks. The berserks, they all have ambushes. And I don't really know why, because there's 31 ambushes here, which means you're spending 31 points on ambushes. No, Steve, don't worry about it. I'll do it last. It's not a problem at all. Happy to fit yours in, bud. So I like how the berserks are set up. They've got flails and throwing axes, which just means they're a really solid skirmishy, hard to deal with unit, because you can move them up, throw some throwing axes. They can stand and shoot with quick shot. They're just hard to deal with efficiently because they're so small, and they're relatively tough, with their 4-up, their T4 and their 6-up ward save from Relentless Warriors. Non-magical attacks, but that's fine. A Fireball would still probably clean them out. It just makes them surprisingly sticky. I don't love that they all have ambushes, but maybe there's a reason for that. So Cameron, if you do have something there, do let me know. I'm not going to take it off because it feels super deliberate, but it is 31 points that could go elsewhere. And then we've got 5 Huskarls, 5 Skinwolves. This unit here, have they both got Mark of Khorne? Yeah, they've both got Mark of Khorne. So this is a very, very frenzy list. Flail, Heavy Armour, Drilled, Mark of Khorne. And then the Sergeant has the Helm of Many Eyes. And the Helm of Many Eyes is good because the way Wolves of the Sea work is before the game starts. After deployment, before the game starts, you declare a challenge with one of your unit champions, and then your opponent can either accept or decline if they have the correct models to do so, and this gives you strikes first. It also gives you stupidity, but you don't care because the whole point of this model is to win that turn 1 combat and make sure you get the guaranteed go first, which is really nice when you've got a lot of fast frenzied models. So yeah, this is solid. I like this unit. I'd have given both of these shields. Like, it doesn't feel like you'd have to make many cuts to give them shields just to keep them alive a little bit longer. Against incidental firepower, 5 Skinwolves. Skinwolves are fantastic. I really like Skinwolves here. Double Spawn of Nurgle is great. And then there's 3 Dragon Ogres and 2 Dragon Ogres. I like the 3. I'm not sold on the 2. I don't know. 2 just doesn't do it for me for some reason. But you've got the points for 5 Dragon Ogres, so, you know, put them as you like. That's not really the end of the world. I don't want to tweak that. What I would tweak, and I wouldn't really tweak much with it, but I would tweak the Sorcerer Lord to make sure that we've given them the Spell Familiar. That's the big thing. And, yeah, I mean, I'd be super tempted to take off ambushes. I just don't see the value in it when you've got a guaranteed go, or, like, you're very likely to go first because you've set up to do the before game challenge, right? So I don't really see why ambushes is on here. It's fine, I guess, because it means that they don't take damage from, say, Wood Elves. But a good player who is playing that sort of, like, long-range sit-back style has the ability to screen you out. What other core would you fit in? I mean, I quite like the Mark of Khorne. I mean, I know they're not T4, which everything else is T4 in this list. But you could go Marauder Horseman with flails, shields, Mark of Khorne, 80 points for 5, and it's just more like aggressive damage. I'd probably do something like that. Maybe even drop the Marauder Horseman down, because you only need 4 plus the Sorcerer Lord, I believe, to get the unit strength 10 for the +1 to cast. You could probably safely drop down to like 7 models, drop all the ambushes, drop 1 model in this squad, and that might get you to 2 units of Mark of Khorne Marauders, something like that. But yeah, I still need to cut 5 points. The easiest way of doing it is just dropping ambush from one of the squads. So I think there's that, but if Cameron does watch and wants to make some tweaks, I think the other thing, in fact, what I'll do is I'll copy this list. Cameron, limited changes, and then I'll do the version with the more extreme changes. So we've given the Mark of Tzinch, yeah. So we're going to go down to 5, and we're just going to turn off ambushes on all of these because I don't see the purpose of it. And maybe I'm missing something. But it turns out you just get 1 unit, but that's fine. And then this version here, if we just copy this one. Minus ambush, adding a unit of Khorne Horsemen. There we go. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, that's an illegal list. God damn it. It's because I didn't put flails in. There we go. And then we need to... What have I done? What have I missed here? You should have shields. Then we're 3 points over. How have I done that? How incredibly inefficient. I wonder if we just go... Because now that I've done it, I have to fix it. I can't just post the wrong list. 1972, and then give them both shields. Because I did want to put shields on these units. 1982, and then... Honestly... If we just go like this... Oh, that's too many points. The last 5 points, of course. Your favourite part of making lists. I find it a little bit annoying, honestly. But, you know, different strokes for different folks, eh? Drop shields from the new unit. Yeah, it's definitely possible. But so that would take me to 499 points in core if I'd made that change. So, I'm just going to tweak this one here. So the second list I've made more severe changes to, but it's a lot of preferential changes as opposed to necessarily it needs to be done. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so we've now got the list here. What have I done with it? Alvis Thunderkeg's Exiles. Very exciting. So this is a very different list. Thanks for the advice on the combos. I actually run a 1500 20 list with Night Goblin Poison and a whole mess of magic and squigs. It's a lot of nonsense, but it's fun. It is fun. Yeah. As long as it's in the right context, I think it's a great list to play. This list looks cool. It does look cool, doesn't it? So, was there any text given? I'm trying to create a competitive Cecil Gaston list. Cecil would be by himself, Dark Magic Wizard in the Mounted Yeoman, Demonology Wizard in the Yeoman Guard, Damsel and BSB in the Foot Knight unit. Idea is to send the Pegs and GK. What's GK? Green Knight. Pegs and Green Knight into the enemy's rear, while magic buffed infantry full send in the front. Try to keep Cecil safe from the infantry blocks and use Infernal Gateway to give him mobility. Here's the problem with that. You charge before you cast the spell, so your charge range is only ever going to be 10 inches. And I think that just doesn't work for a solo foot character. I think if you're running Sir Cecil needs to be in a unit. I can't see a world where the things that he wants to hit and is willing to charge, that he's going to be able to get the drop on, right? Because if you fly him 24 inches into the flank of a dragon, that dragon's just going to move and not be within 10 inches of him to charge. So that's the main problem. I think if you're doing it, you leave him in the unit of Foot Knights, and that's sort of the concession you make there. The Paladin, unfortunately, does have an illegal loadout, or for what you were planning. So Virtue of Duty, 25 points. It does give +1 combat res. However, can't be the unit general or join a friendly unit. So we're going to have to drop that one, unfortunately, because obviously you're wanting to put the Paladin in with the squad. Let's just have a look here. So. The Foot Knights are basically defense for Cecil. Yeah, I think if you're going to play him, that's probably the best way to do it. Ablative Wounds, it means that dragons charging that unit, they're a lot less willing to do so, although he is still kind of squishy. There is the risk that he just dies, because is he 4 wounds, or is he 3? T4, 3 wounds. He has a 4-up save with the heavy armor and shield, and then the Dragon Hide Cloak means that he ignores the first 2 points of armor pen. So he effectively always has a 4-up armor save. Does he have a ward save? He's got the Blessings of the Lady, so he's got a 4-up, 5-up, which is not bad, but he does only have 3 wounds. So if you roll poorly, you could just die to a dragon very quickly. He's initiative 5 as well, which is before dragons. So maybe what you do is you challenge out with your unit champion, And then second round of combat, you challenge out with Sir Cecil. And that way, you get to do the shenanigans. Maybe that's the fix here. But he's interesting, at least. Green Knight's obviously very good. The Paladin, Falconhorn. This is Exiles, right? So you still leadership 8 on a Paladin. That's fine. I don't hate that. It would be better to put this character on horse if you're willing to do that. I know you're going for like a foot-mounted army, but you said you're making it as a competitive list. So if you go for a Bretonnian Warhorse, you'll get an extra attack, but you'll also get barding. So that'll get you up to a 3-up save on your BSB instead of just being stuck at a 2-up. I think that's worth doing. That feels like a good choice. Morningstar is... Honestly, I'd probably pay the points for the Morningstar. Because if you're going for hand weapon, you know, why not just have strength 5 AP1 attacks for round 1 of combat, and then strength 4 AP1 attacks in subsequent rounds? That makes sense to me. And it's quite cheap. Okay. It's not two-handed, is it? No. Sergeant at Arms on foot to go in with the Yeoman. Makes sense. And then you've got triple Wizard. So Outcast, Outcast. Have I got this the right way around? You've got the Law Familiar and the Dark Magic. Why is Law Familiar with Dark Magic? What did you say the role was? If Cecil goes on the foot, no, I probably don't need the Yeoman Dark Magic unit. Yeah. Right, okay, yes, I understand. So, let's just take it out for now. Because the Demonology caster definitely wants Law Familiar. And the reason for that is you need to get the 3 good spells, right? So you also probably want Power Scrolls. So let's just give you 2 Power Scrolls, because you're only casting at a +3, so when you want to get them off, you need to get them off. Same with the Damsel, honestly. What spells are you looking for in Battle Magic? Because you've given her a Flame Strike Wand, which is cheap, and I do like the Flame Strike Wand. Is she just there mostly to provide the magic resist? And I guess the ward save from Oaken Shield. I guess that's probably why she's here. Or, oh, no, because she can give, she can pick Lady's Gift, right, for the regen. Okay. I don't hate that, because then they've got triple save. And it's not a remains in play. Anyone played against the Grey Knight since the FAQ change? Has it nerfed him effectively? What was the nerf? Yeah, that makes sense. I think, honestly, on her, we're giving her double Power Scroll as well, because when you... Oh? Oh, only got points for 1. Give her a single Power Scroll. Yeah, that makes sense. Give her... Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because you really want to get that regen off, right? Hills Unnatural. Most people played it that way. Very few places did, and there was basically one big tournament that did it wrong. And this is in reaction to that. But yeah, I think this is good. I think this is pretty solid. Oh, wait, the Paladin, I turned off the BSB. He's meant to be a BSB. People already played it that way, so it didn't really affect them. Yeah, that's exactly it. Are there any cheap virtues that we want to give this unit? Let's just have a double check. Can march in range. No. Definitely not. Absolutely not. We know that doesn't work. Virtue of Purity. No. We're getting expensive here. Okay, cool. We can drop those. Into core, you've got... We could drop the Yeoman. Let's drop them for now. You've got the Yeoman Guard with the War Banner. War Banner's good. And then you've got the Knights of the Realm on foot with the Banner of Shalons. Yeah, I did see this. I don't think this is necessarily a good choice for this unit. I think I want to swap your banners around. So, because the Knights of the Realm are slow, and I know you can make them fly, they're not going to get as many charges as you might like. But giving them the Vanguard move means that you can move them 4 inches, then you can march them 24. And that means you can get past your opponent's lines or past their charge arcs, depending how you deploy, how wide you go. So that's a little bit of shenanigans, and it also means that you can do a wheel and still get very close to someone. Or you can get, you know, if they deploy 3 inches back, you can still be an inch away from them. All that sort of good stuff. Because I think realistically, they're probably not being stand and shot. Because either they are not getting a charge, or they're going to be right next to the enemy unit, and not too many units that have good stand and shoot have quick shot. It's basically just dwarves. Peg Knights, on the other hand, they definitely want to benefit from turning off stand and shoot. And we could give them the Exile's Vow as well. Oh, these are exiles, so you don't get the ward save. I wonder if it's better to just go for... Well, you can still win combat, though, right? Yeah, okay, let's leave this character as it is. This is fine. So this just leaves us with 160 points, basically. And honestly, there is a lot you can do with 160 points. Depends which sort of direction you want to go with it. But you could just go for another unit of Pegasus Knights, honestly. Like, drop this to 5, and then go for a unit of 3 with the Banner of Honourable Warfare. Like, something like this would be a very acceptable... Oh, you definitely want the Blessed Triptych in this unit. Don't make me build more Peg Knights. That's super reasonable. Let's get rid of them. So what would you like to have in your last 100 or almost 200 points? You could go for something else. We could just make the core units bigger, but you also have the flexibility to run another unit. Basically, dealer's choice. Good morning, Entropy. How are you doing? A couple of bombards would be good. Have you got cannons? Because if you've got 2 cannons, like, this would be a pretty solid way to round out the list. Because you're a full-foot infantry list. And yes, you do have, like, Pegasus Knights, and you can make them fly fast. But you can also just put the pressure on them. And, you know, gun them down, potentially. Don't have them yet. There we go. This is the aspirational list, then, I would say. Bombards are really good. And then, alternatively, if you didn't want to run them, you could just run, you know, 200 points of something else that you wanted to fit in the list. Bretonnians are one of those armies that they're just pretty good across the board. So you can get away with running not whatever you want, but a lot of stuff you can put in there. So that would be my recommendation. Perfect stuff. And as always, if you want to tweak it down the line, don't tag me. Do tag me. No worries at all, Richard. Hope that goes well for you. I'd love to hear how you get on with them, because I'm interested to hear how Cecil does. I think that's a really fun idea. Finally, we've got Cardinal Carp, and then we'll have a look at Ginger Steve's list as well. So Cardinal Carp had gone for Nuln, and he'd gone for a captain on Griffin with the Dragon Bow, Lance Full Plate Shield, engineer on a war wagon with a grenade launching blunderbuss and a battle standard bearer, foot engineer with Von Trick's Wondrous Arquebus, Witch Hunter with Ruby Ring of Ruin, Brace of Pistols on a horse, Master Mage twice with Squintoffin's Marvellous Magnifier Demonology, double Archers, double Outriders, State Troops, double Cannon, double Hellblaster, Road Wardens. So I think below this line, everything here is good. Above this line, I think I have some tweaks that I'd like to make. Mostly the characters are the choices that I'm looking at going, yeah, I'm not particularly wowed. I just need to double check, because I'm sure you can take a general of the Empire, but for some reason in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, can you? I just want to make sure. Let me just pull that PDF up on my phone. Let's have a look here. So, City, State, and Nuln. Yeah, cool. We can have generals of the Empire. Bretts are one of the armies that can kick ass and still exemplify the vibes of their law. They absolutely can. So here, the reason that I'm going to upgrade this to a general is because Leadership 8 is not good, and you can get that to Leadership 9. And that's just a big difference. For 45 points, your army not running away because you've paid a little bit more, I think is really solid. We'll go Imperial with Griffin. We won't go for a second head. We will go for Talisman of Protection, and we will go for the Dragon Bow as well. Let's have a look here. It's too easy to pick off with it being a large target if you don't give it a ward save. So I'd absolutely be doing that. There we go, Dragon Bow. And it still does the same thing. So it is more expensive, but you get what you pay for. I think that's really solid. The engineer here, you don't have to give it War Banner. I like War Banner, but it's not, it's definitely optional. Again, I would be giving this a ward save. It's a big target. You want to give it protection from things that can come at it. You don't... If you're standing still, this is good, but the war wagon has a rule that you can march and shoot. That's only for the war wagon, I believe. It doesn't actually impart onto the blunderbuss, and you still have cumbersome on there. Or maybe you can march and shoot, sorry, but you still take the -2 to shoot from ponderous, not cumbersome. So I'm not a big fan of the blunderbuss, but we'll put it in. Got an engineer on foot with the arquebus, which is fine. And then we've got the witch hunter, the mage, the mage. I think we have to cut something. So, for the sake of it, like, the arquebus is fun. Strength 5, AP 2, D3 damage, I believe it is. Whereas the dragon bow is strength 6, AP 2, flat 2 damage. I believe that's the way around it is. Might be AP 3. But I think if something has to get cut, that's the way to cut it. And yeah, these two casters here, I quite like them. I wouldn't be opposed to putting a Ruby Ring of Ruin on here. I'm not really sure why the Witch Hunter's there. Let's just double check. So Suffer Not the Witch, that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't think this is necessary, honestly. Maybe we just cut this like that, and then we go, this character can have... Someone can have the Ruby Ring of Ruin. We'll just put it on the general. We'll combine the rules there. We're still 30 odd points over, so we just need to make some cuts, which is... that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. I don't love that for us. What are we thinking? Is there anything that's like obvious to cut here? Because this is a very efficient core. You can't go any more efficient than that. Double cannon, double hell blaster. I don't really want to drop much. We could drop one road warden, and we're still over on points. Even if we drop the blunderbuss, we're now 1 point over. Maybe we just drop the lance, honestly. We just accept that the lance is surplus to requirements. Maybe that's the way to go. And we just trust the griffin to do the heavy lifting. I don't hate that. I think that's solid. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have the points for the lance, but I really don't want to cut anything else. So this, to me, feels like we're there. But Cardinal Carp, I assume you're not here, because we haven't seen you in chat. If you watch this and you have any thoughts, do feel free to post it in the Empire channel and give me a ping, and I will have a look and see. Cardinal Carp, there we go. Yeah, like if there's any choices in there that I've cut that you really want to keep in, do feel free to let me know, and I will see if there's any tweaking that I can do to keep it all above board. Lovely stuff. So that leaves us with just one task, and that is patron saint of the channel, Ginger Steve, has posted a list. So let's see what we're working with here, bud. All right. So we're talking Bretonnians, and it was for someone who is bad at the game. So it looks like it's Grand Army Bretonnia. Okay, so this is solid. I feel like from the off, this might not need much tweaking, because the Bretonnian list is so kind of cut and dry that you might have just written the perfect list up front. And I haven't looked at it yet, so no pressure, but I think you might have just done a good job. Gilded Cuirass. Oh, nope, never mind. The hell's a Gilded Cuirass? 5-up regen. Okay, I see what you're going for here. So you're going for a 3-up, 5-up, 5-up instead of a 2-up rerunning 1s. Huh. How do I feel about that? I don't hate it, actually. Is the triple save more forgiving? Honestly, maybe. As long as he doesn't get shot by small arms fire. I think it's more efficient to go for the Grummel Great Helm, but I think the Gilded Cuirass is decent, and it's maybe more beginner-friendly. Like, you can go into a dragon, like, all you have to do is point him at a dragon, and you've got more chance to get there, right? That's what I'm thinking. There is nothing in my list that is precious. Joe is so bad that he needs everything to help him. 12 months ago, we went to a Teams event, and he'd not taken the plastic off his book. That's brilliant. Yeah, I'm interested by the Gilded Cuirass. I think that's I'm a little surprised we don't see it more. I guess it is 20 points more, and a 2-up save rerolling ones means that you're rolling a 4-up save rerolling ones a lot of the time. But against like Viletide or something, or anything that ignores armor or armor bane, the triple save is stronger. Let's leave it on. Let's leave it on. Means he's more vulnerable to small arms fire, but just play better, or don't give him, opponents that are playing, don't give him dwarves basically, who are going to shoot him with Iron Drakes. And for a teams list, this is probably actually better because he'll survive longer against the dragons that he's going to try and kill. Cool, that works for me. Then we've got a Baron. Ooh. Let's have a look here. I'm reading this and I'm not following. So Baron, Shield, Grailvow. Grailvow is very good. Royal Pegasus is very good. Oh, wait, hold on. I've done a whoopsie. You've gone for the virtue of Knightly Temper. Okay, so I think let's just make this as easy for him as possible. So we'll go Virtue of Heroism on the Duke. This is the Killing Blow character. And then this one will give the Ogre Blade. So you just tell him, look, you've got 2 models. One kills dragons, one kills everyone else. And you tell him, this one with the sword, this one kills everyone else. Joe seemed switched on enough. I believe he can manage that. So if we just go for the standard character loadout here, if we make it nice and easy. Lady Elise, I really like Lady Elise in a beginner's list because it gives you good magic defense. So that is solid. Cool. 17 Knights of the Realm. Okay, yeah. I'm seeing the theme here. Make it as few decision points as possible. Very good. I like that. Yep, no, that's solid. Big fan. And then 10 Peasant Bowmen with skirmishes. Yep, it's like he's playing 40k. Nice and easy. Good stuff there. And then you've got 2 units of Pegasus Knights. You've gone for 4 and 4. People typically go for 5 and 3. You have gone full command on both. Alright, let's put it in and then let's have a think about whether I like that or not. So, Razor Standard and Banner of Shalons. Okay, so I'm thinking, what we're thinking here is we go the big unit. Does it matter if we go 5, or is 4 and 4 better? Because you've got 2 characters that actually want to be bodyguarded. Great lad, though. This is the Joe that I went out for dinner with, isn't it? Not on a date. Get you mine out the gutter. At Rob's events, we all go for dinner on the Saturday and have a good time. If it's the Joe I'm thinking of, he was loads of fun. I enjoyed spending time with him. Yeah, I think let's follow conventional wisdom. We'll go a unit of 5. We'll go a unit of 3. The unit of 5 is going to have the Banner of Shalons, and this is the one that you attach the Baron to. So the combo here is you go 5 models that can't be standard shot, and they've got the Baron, and he will just fly around, and this unit will mulch basically anything in the game outside of a dragon. But that's okay, because the unit of 3, we're going to give the Banner of Honourable Warfare, which, as mentioned previously, you rerolled failed hit rolls. First round of combat, engaged with enemies equipped with missile weapons. So it's like pseudo-hatred. It's hatred missile weapons. Dragons have a breath weapon. A breath weapon's a ranged attack. You attach the Duke with the Virtue of Heroism. So that means you're going in, you've got 5 attacks hitting on 4s, but you're re-rolling all your hits. So you don't need to lean on the Paymaster's Coin, which you don't have points for because we've gone for the regen. You go in, you challenge, You fight the dragon. You get rerolls to hit. You only need to roll a single 6 to wound, and then you win combat. I like that. I think this is really solid. Honestly, if you're making it easy for him, I think this is a really solid approach. Obviously, you've got Magic Resist 2 from the Lady Elise. Yeah, this is good. This is the shit I needed. Yeah, man, you were most of the way there. He's Mr. Box's biggest fan. Enough said on that, I'm sure. Yeah. And then we've still got 17 points left. How are we filling those points? Do we have any points? No, 100 out of 100. We've got 70 out of 75. Grail Vow on there, so you've always got the ward save. Elise is good. I'd love to fit a paladin in for the BSB. You ever encounter a list doing these that show you a new idea of way to play? Yeah, absolutely. Let me just put... how do we tweak this? What do we put in? I don't think we can get another... No, that's too many. Just don't use the points to show, but... I can't leave 17 points. That feels wrong. There's a character joining this unit, so we can't even go like this, because that would be exactly 2,000 points. I think we just go 13 peasant bowmen. That feels absolutely fine. Something like that. But yeah, no, I'll link that list. Yeah, good stuff. These two characters are going to do all of the heavy lifting, and then the Pegasus Knights that they're attached to. Just write down which one goes with which. So the Duke goes with the 3 that give rerolls to hit against ranged units. The Baron goes with the 5 that turn off stand and shoot. And as long as he's got that right and he knows which sort of units he should charge them into, he should be perfectly fine. Yeah, no worries, man. Always welcome. And, you know, if you want to make tweaks, you can shoot me a message as well anytime, you know. Ginger Steve. Duke 3, Baron 5. Yeah, boy. And that's nice as well, because the Baron needs more... You'll make stickers, yeah. Well, you could just get either me or Nick to make some stickers, you know, either or. Outsource. It wouldn't be that difficult. But, yeah, no, that's all good stuff. Oh, yeah, I was going to talk about the list that was a different... so in this stream, a list that I like that is doing things a different way. Hasaflavor's Demon of Chaos. So this is a basically full Slanesh list with a unit of 2 units of Khorne Furies and 1 unit of Khorne Blood Crushers, and it's a points denial list, and you don't normally see that for demons. So this, all of the points, you've got 957 points plus 493. You know what? It's past 10 o'clock. I'm just gonna do the maths on my calculator. So 957 plus 493. So you got 1450 points tied up into 1 unit. I, as the Royal Eye, I don't do anything. I respect that. When you've got the resources to not have to, I respect that. Time is money, after all. And then the 4 Blood Crushers of Khorne. This is also points now. And between it, this unit and the Demonic Herald of Slanesh, they combo to make enemy spellcasters cast at -2. And you can demonology. So you can fly them up the field with Steed of Shadows with your 24-inch range. Fly here. I like it. I don't know if it's going to cut the mustard because it's very squishy. Like, I could probably pull this list apart with my Dark Elves, just with my caster. As long as I don't let my opponent, you know, get easy points by, like, charging the Cold One Knights or something like that, I should be able to just shoot it to death. So yeah, no, it's cool. I think this is really interesting, and as long as your opponent doesn't have masses of magic shooting, that's kind of all right. Ben Walker, how do you submit a list? Are you taking live requests or is it a pre sort of thing? I have an event on Sunday. Okay. So I do this fortnightly, but I need to work out what I'm doing next weekend because next week. Next week is Valentine's Day, so I'm not sure if I'll be streaming. But Catherine and I, my partner, we might do something on Saturday instead. Neither of us are particularly big Valentine's Day fans, and I won't be streaming the week after. But I join the Discord. It is in the link down below. On the Thursday, I will unlock the channel, and I will do an @ everyone and say, list submissions are now live, post them in, and then it is in order of people who submit them, but priority goes to channel members who haven't had their lists submitted in the last 2 streams, and then non-channel members. So realistically, if you haven't had your list looked at in the last 2 streams, the last month, you're probably going to get it seen. And then if we run out of those, people who've already had their list looked at in the last 2 streams get to do it. Obviously, that is no good for you for your event on Sunday. But if you want to post your list in whichever army it is, and then ping me, just at Edward6++, whatever my Discord handle is, I will have a look at it between now and at some point tomorrow. All right, well, thank you all for spending this time with me. Thank you all as well for having the Twitch stream open. I do appreciate it. We've got 8 live viewers, which means that we're definitely going to be getting towards that, unlocking the just ability to do things. No worries, Ben. So yeah, any streams that I've got on Twitch, you know, that I'm obviously multi-streaming, I would appreciate any, you know, having it on in the background on Twitch as well, if you're able to. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Have a good weekend. I've got another interview coming out on Sunday. Hope you're all going to have a good weekend. Thanks for filling our Friday night. Oh, thank you. It's always nice to spend time with. Friday nights are my favourite streams. I like them more than the Tuesday streams. Tuesdays are good, but Fridays I get